Hi there, my name is Toby and this is part 8 of my series on effortless walking. And today is quite an advanced session. We're working on pulling. It's actually pulling with the front leg. So it's a difficult one to get the hang of and understand, but it will add another level of power, another dimension to your walking and running in particular. So we're starting off here, just a nice tall spine, relaxing. Now sit into a horse riding stance. Your toes are slightly apart, so your hips are open at the front, but you're also sitting down on a chair. You're projecting your hips a little bit backwards. So you've got a nice tall spine, lift the shoulders and elbows up like that to maintain. You've got a slight backwards arch. Feel the chest open, the sternum tilts slightly up, and now I'm just shifting my weight side to side between the hips. You've got to feel the stretch in the hip joint itself. Now here we're starting with the pulling. You see, because you're shifting your weight, one foot pushes to the other foot. But now what we're doing is pulling. So you see, when my weight is on the back leg, I'm pulling it towards that leg. I'm pulling the knee in. So pulling with the back of the knee. See, now my weight goes to that leg. Now it's the opposite leg. So this leg I've got to pull away from the other leg. I resist with one leg and pull with the other leg. It's a different effect. You'll have to grip the toes onto the floor and pull with the hamstring, the back of the knee, to pull yourself forward. So you're pulling with one leg and resisting with the other leg. You see, so it's interesting, very interesting effect, something different. All we've been doing so far is pushing with the back leg into the front leg, but now we pull with the front leg into the back leg. Now release it all out, stand up nice and tall, twisting left and right. Always important to relax between every exercise. This should always feel natural, easy, comfortable, no pain, never ever any pain. Stop if you feel pain. Now we're doing it again forward and backwards. So 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. And as you go back, you sink into the back hip. And as you go forward, see, now it's pushing. This is what we've done before, pushing with the back hip into the front foot. So the front foot resists a little bit, it gives some resistance, and you use the back foot to try and push. You squeeze the glutes, squeeze the hips forward, still trying to keep a nice alignment of the spine, and you're feeling it isolating the hip joint itself. You're pushing the back foot into the ground, but resisting with the front foot. So this we can sort of understand. This will propel us forward. But what we're doing is isolating the hips. You've got to isolate the tendons, the ligaments. This is tricky to do. It's not so much the muscles, it's the ligaments. And now what I'm doing is pulling. So when you pull with the front knee, you actually are using the knee. So far what we're doing is focusing on the hips and the ankle to push, but now with pulling, you're bending the knee. But this is safe for the knee. You're not falling onto the knee, you're not impacting the knee, your leg is gripping with the toes and you're pulling with the back of the knee. So this is forcing you to activate the tendons in your knee. It will strengthen up the knee joint. It's not the thighs. So as you pull yourself forward, you resist with the back leg. You see, you're applying a resistance. Either you push with the back leg and resist with the front leg, or you pull with the front leg and resist with the back leg. So now let's try both together. So you're sitting nice and tall. Again, legs are apart. Your toes are slightly apart, so that it allows your hips to open a bit. But your hips, remember, are still projecting backwards like sitting on a chair. You're trying to feel a stretch in the hips, nice tall spine, and pulling and pushing together. You're pulling and pushing. Pull with the front leg, resist, but also push with the back leg and resist. This is tricky. What you're doing is locking up the knee. You're going to lock the back of the knee, tense up the hamstring. You're gripping the toes. So now rise up a little bit onto the ball of the foot. Only a little bit. So on the ball of the foot now, you grip with the toes, so you can pull with the front knee, pull with the toes, but resist with the back leg. But you're also pushing with the back leg. So this creates a bounce. It's very, very efficient. And you are isolating the tendons, the ligaments. So now let me try and show you again here, walking along. So nice and tall, I'm on the ball of the foot, opening up into the crane wings. So you look at the previous sessions for this. And I'm taking a step forward but balancing. So I'm extending the front leg but not shifting my weight. Very careful. Nice tall spine. Now grip with the toes and pull myself forward. See, it's all isolating the front leg. Point out the toes like a ballerina. It's the tippy toes. I'm dragging my foot backwards from the toes. And I'm pulling myself forward in the front leg. Again, project out the leg before shifting the weight. Grip with the toes and pull. Pull yourself forward. trying to maintain this vertical alignment of the spine. This is white crane kung fu. This is to do with floating, balancing. But now we're adding another dimension of power. Stretch out the front leg, point the tippy toes, claw the floor, grip the floor, and pull yourself with the back of the knee, the hamstring. It's going to train your legs in a very, very different way. It doesn't matter if you think you're super fit, super strong, and you can run a marathon. This is different. Now, the idea is when you're running, you're actually going to have a moment in the air. So I was just practicing there, throwing myself forward. See, it's about pulling the knee in, gripping and pulling yourself down. It's very interesting, different effect. So if you're walking along, you see, like this, walking along, what you're doing is throwing out the tippy toes. Again, I'm walking on the ball of the foot. I'm never flat-footed. And as one leg goes out, you have a moment where your toes reach out and you have a little grip. So in the air, you can grip and pull with the front leg. It's tricky. It's tricky. That's why you've got to practice this slowly and carefully. And like I said, walking and running is very high-level mastery skill. I am still trying to master this. I never walk the same way twice. I'm always improving my technique. You never walk just thinking, I'm walking. No. Walking is high-level mastery skill. Keep working on that mastery. So again, it's a twist, it's a float. Your leg is relaxed. You're letting the leg swing forward, but as it lands on the tippy toes, you have a moment where you can pull. Now here, this is the movement. It's again a bit funny. You've got to drive yourself forward from the base of the spine, or rather below the belly button. So this is the position of the spine that drives you forward. You're driving forward from the back hip, so you're pushing from the back hip. That throws you forward, but your front foot lands and has a pull. You see, that's why it's so difficult. You're propelling from the back hip, but also pulling from the front hip. This is efficiency. If you can get all these dynamics working together, it's going to be efficient. It becomes effortless. Now I'm taking a bigger step. So you can imagine in a bigger step, there's a moment when you're in the air, you're reaching out, and as the tippy toes land, the first thing is to pull, and you pull back with the hips themselves. You'll feel it. The hips pull back, the back of the knee, you grip the toes. But you still got to keep a nice tall spine. Don't lean forward, don't hunch forward. Open up, stretch up the spine, arch backwards. This is about opening your posture, aligning your posture, and then using the ligaments, the stretch in the ligaments, tension in the ligaments. Now we're running. See, we're running, it's even more dramatic. So you can see this running position here. This is like a static position midway of a run. And we can all practice this. This is practicing the dynamics of running. See, I'm on the ball of the foot. I've got a twist, a counter twist through my spine. Arms are bent 90 degrees. This is the most efficient for the arm. But imagine I'm running through the air. I project the leg forward, reach on the toes, pull myself forward. So now I'm going to the next one. Now before I go forward, project the leg, pull. I'm pulling with the front leg, pulling into the next position of the run. Now, as you're running, we're going to work up to this in the next final sessions of this course. So bear with me for that. But you can see in the air, you'll be flying in the air, you'd land on the tippy toes and you'd pull. You'll have a fraction of a second where you're only pulling. You're only pulling in the mid-air, then as you change, you then change it to a pushing. The same leg will pull, and as you cross the center line, it's going to push. You see, you've got to pull yourself with the hips and then propel yourself with the hips. This is moving towards running. And I call this a white crane skimming across the water. You see, when you get this running really right, you take massive strides, very big steps. You really stretch out and your feet never go flat. You're really only touching the tippy toes. You touch the tippy toes, you grip and pull, and you do it so fast that the next leg is coming. You grip and pull and then you push, so it's in midair. One propels, one catches. And then in midair it pulls and then it pushes. You see, it pushes and then it goes to the next one, it pulls. So this, when you do this very fast, you're skimming across the top of the water. You never touch the ground. It's very efficient, very fast, and relatively effortless. See the stretch? You really got to stretch out. The whole body stretches out to the tippy toes. Really stretch out. This is how you run. Bigger stride. The larger the stride, again, the more efficient. But you will have to find your own stride. You'll have to experiment with this. Your optimum stride will be together with your height. You have to find your own optimum stride. Now this exercise here is on the spot, just practicing the bounce of sprinting. But what am I doing? I'm on the ball of the foot, I'm pushing and pulling with the legs. Remember, pushing and pulling with the hips. and I'm twisting, counter twisting through the hips, through the spine into a run. So you can see this twist, this bounce, pulling and pushing through the hips, and I'm converting that energy into a twist in the shoulders. I'm pivoting through the spine. Now you can lever slightly forward. If you're sprinting, you might lever slightly forward to get the optimum angle, but the spine is still straight. You do not hunch forward. Walking, you can maintain a vertical spine. Sprinting, you might lever slightly forward to get the optimum angle for absolute maximum power. So I hope this made sense. This is all about pulling in with the front leg. And do stay tuned for the next ones. We're moving closer and closer now to actual walking. We're going to be doing this in practice. So thank you so much for watching. Do check out the others in the series because they all lead up to this one. And I look forward to seeing you in any of these other videos here.